can't beat me. If they could beat me, they would have went to the polls. But now when I bring the people out, you don't let them in?
We're not your damn subjects. We are your bosses. We are the citizens of Dalton, and you will not teach.
Tiffany Henyard, the self-proclaimed super mayor, is witnessing the rapid collapse of her political empire in real time. Her dramatic flair and penchant for controversy have kept her in the headlines for years, but now, after a series of high-profile failures and mounting public outrage, her once tight grip on power is slipping away. To those following her saga, it now resembles a Netflix drama, complete with political infighting, personal vendettas, and the signature theatricality that only Henyard can bring. In a desperate attempt to maintain control, Henyard has been juggling her roles as mayor of Dalton while simultaneously trying to retain her position as supervisor of Thornton Township. However, her political career has been mired in chaos, largely due to a Democratic caucus that escalated her downfall. Her re-election bid for supervisor ended in defeat, marking the beginning of the end for her political aspirations. The entire situation has unfolded like a slow-motion car crash, with Henyard clinging to power as those around her increasingly question her leadership and judgment. The controversy began with Henyard's decision to hold dual roles as both mayor of Dalton and supervisor of Thornton Township, positions many found ethically questionable. Managing two major offices simultaneously took its toll, leading to growing tension within local government and dissatisfaction among voters. When the Democratic caucus descended into chaos, Henyard's grip on both positions weakened. Her opponents saw an opportunity and seized it, pushing her further into a corner. Her re-election campaign was met with failure, and as political winds shifted against her, Henyard's once unshakable confidence began to erode. What was once a promising political career built on bold promises and attention-grabbing moves has turned into a cautionary tale of hubris and overreach. As Henyard's public disputes, new scandals, and failed comebacks pile up, her fall from grace deepens. The public watches as her empire crumbles, and it's becoming clear that her chances of making a political comeback are growing slimmer by the day. The once powerful super mayor may soon fade into political obscurity, her fate sealed by arrogance and a crumbling hold on power. As her political drama unfolds, one key question remains. Can she mount a comeback, or has her career already reached its bitter end? For now, the political world is watching with bated breath, eager to see whether Henyard can hold on to the remnants of her power, or whether she will completely fade from the scene. In a particularly dramatic turn of events, Henyard stormed out in a fit of rage upon discovering that her name had been excluded from the ballot. It was clear that her political dreams were unraveling in real time. She did not take the exclusion. Well, venting loudly to anyone who would listen and making her displeasure known at every turn. The scene was chaotic, with a frustrated crowd shouting for her to kiss them goodbye and demanding she leave. Her dramatic exit was a far cry from the dignified behavior expected of a seasoned politician. However, it wasn't just her outburst that had people talking. It was the circumstances surrounding her expulsion that fueled even more controversy. At the core of the issue lay a set of long-forgotten caucus rules that had not been enforced in over 30 years. These rules ultimately disqualified Henyard's slate of candidates from even being considered. According to the outdated regulations, a full slate of 8 candidates was required to qualify for the ballot, covering various township positions, including supervisor, 4 trustees, the highway director, the clerk, and the assessor. The problem for Henyard was that her slate was incomplete. Without a certified assessor on her team, her candidacy was rendered invalid, and her hopes for re-election were dashed instantly. As Henyard's supporters fumed and protested, hoping for a different outcome, the man behind her political downfall was revealed to be none other than State Senator Napoleon Harris. Harris, who also serves as the Democratic committeeman for Thornton Township, ensured the caucus rules were enforced. His swift actions not only secured his own victory as the Democratic nominee for supervisor, but also ensured that Henyard's slate was disqualified, effectively knocking her out of the race. To Henyard and her supporters, Harris's involvement seemed like more than just rule enforcement. It appeared to be a calculated power play aimed at undermining her candidacy. From their perspective, Harris used his influence to sideline Henyard and clear the way for his own political ambitions. This move left Henyard's camp feeling betrayed, outraged, and convinced that Harris had orchestrated a political power grab. As tensions between Henyard's supporters and Harris escalated, it became clear that this was more than a procedural issue. It was a battle of egos and careers. For Henyard, the loss wasn't just a political defeat. It was a blow to her pride and a crushing setback to her ambitions. She remains determined to fight back, even if it means going against her own party. For Harris, securing the Democratic nomination for Supervisor was a major victory, but it came at the cost of deepening divisions within the party. Whether Henyard's claims of unfair treatment will gain traction, or whether Harris's maneuver will be seen as necessary for maintaining party integrity, remains to be seen. One thing is certain: this political drama is far from over. The stage is now set for a larger battle over the future of Thornton Township's leadership and the power dynamics within the Democratic Party. As Henyard's political empire continues to unravel, her fall from grace will undoubtedly remain a defining chapter in local political history. The chaotic series of events, filled with power struggles, backstabbing, and shifting alliances, has all the elements of a classic political thriller. As this saga continues to unfold, new twists and turns are likely to emerge. For now, all we can do is sit back and watch as the next chapter of this dramatic political downfall plays out with stakes higher than ever. Outcome is anything but certain.
If you don't get the Democratic Party's nomination.
What do you mean? I will be victorious tonight. You will see. My people out here.
Drama queen Tiffany Henyard was not about to let her political downfall go quietly. Behind closed doors, she accused State Senator Napoleon Harris of using unfair tactics to block her from the race, claiming the entire caucus procedure was a deliberate effort to stifle her candidacy. According to Henyard, this was more than just a political inconvenience. It was a blatant case of voter suppression. She alleged that many of her supporters, whom she had arranged transportation for, via township buses, were unable to attend the crucial caucus meeting because the buses arrived late. In her eyes, this wasn't an accident. It was a calculated attempt to disenfranchise her base. Her anger reached a boiling point, and she didn't hesitate to make her feelings known. In a private conversation, she reportedly vowed, "Tomorrow, I shall be suing everyone involved." To Henyard, the violation of her supporters' rights wasn't just a minor setback, it was a major injustice, one she promised to fight tooth and nail. What made the situation even more absurd was the image of her followers left stranded outside, unable to participate in the caucus while the meeting continued without them. The buses she had arranged had allegedly arrived too late, causing frustration and confusion. As they stood outside in the cold, both literally and figuratively, the dramatic spectacle added another layer of absurdity to an already tense situation. Henyard, always ready for the spotlight, seized the moment to frame herself as a victim of a political power play. She painted the events as a textbook example of voter suppression, making explosive claims that she seemed determined to use to her advantage. To Henyard, this wasn't just about losing an election. It was a battle for justice, a fight against forces working to prevent her from serving the people. However, her critics weren't buying it. Many dismissed her claims as another dramatic performance, a desperate attempt to discredit those who had effectively ended her political career in Thornton Township. Whether her legal threats would hold any weight remained to be seen. But one thing was certain: Henyard ensured the drama surrounding her downfall wasn't dying down anytime soon. As she prepared to file lawsuits and took to the media to air her grievances, even some of her own supporters began to question the sincerity of her actions. Had they truly been subjected to a coordinated effort to silence them, or was this just another chapter in Henyard's long history of political theatrics? What was clear, however, was that the drama wasn't going anywhere. Henyard was playing her cards as only she could, ensuring the public and media remained focused on her supposed victimization. As the fallout from the caucus continued to unfold, the central question remained: would her legal threats gain traction, or was she simply setting herself up for another public spectacle? Either way, it was increasingly obvious that Tiffany Henyard wasn't going to fade into the background. Instead, she seemed more determined than ever to control the narrative, making sure her political drama played out on her terms. Whether through legal action or by keeping the spotlight firmly on herself, this saga had all the elements of a political thriller, and the ending was still unwritten. political thriller A Bitter Power.